A baseball, a cord wire ball wrapped in leather, halos him and provides the anchor for the second interior we see both sides of, a right-left interview, though the ball is not hidden from us. Prior to discovery of rubber, English racquetball court games used leather-wrapped balls similar to baseballs. This table setting is duplicated later in family quarters of Overlook as the monstrous climax approaches. This relationship to outfit is crucial since Danny, and each character, morphs emblematically as well as follows a color path, each acquire costume colors in a pathway of tonal narrative. The light catches in his milk, and the diamond patterns of both blankets and curtains appear as the decorations of the glass, changes in distances but not scale. A reverse angle in the conversation advances doubling within background. 2 saucepans, 2 milk cartons, a logic shown in reverse. Where the milk in his glass is from, 2 dish soap bottles. While not as disturbing as Jack's pending doubling, it preludes horror with normalcy. In reverse it moves doubling from background, here, to foreground, interview, to mirror, the lake dissipation. This doubling is crucially not perfect, uneven, like Danny's finger, this asymmetry a natural component to humanity and consciousness. Danny reveals his mastery of his interior self, he makes his case as hero known. I command this. The person in the measure of one's thumb stands in the midst of oneself, lord of what has been, and what is to be. One does not shrink away from him. Upanishad, Ullman translation 1911. Danny raises his finger and exhibits an interior human version of the doubling first introduced with lake background. His shirt is an animation extending from Ullman's desktop flag. Notice baseball is now on left side of Danny's head in a framing that shows us another orientation to text inside books. Danny's PPJ breaks in half as the scene ends. Bill Watson joins the interview, his role doubles Jack, initiating his absorption, ensuring Jack and audience are both conscious and unconscious of Hotel's power. The doubling means 2 parallel timeframes are being drawn together from differing planes. Bill Watson wears a brown outfit with diamond pattern tie. This ought to be quite a change for you. Look at Kubrick's new, slightly shifted frame below. Subtle outer asymmetry of desk's symmetric inner form. This is a portal glyph flooded with meaning. The office is hiding its asymmetry by appearing symmetric. Crucially, the initial establishing shot of the office has shifted twice to this shot. From outer window centered to inner desk centered. Ullman behaves similarly, he shifts his right-left orientation from within the sequence, he appears framed right in the wide shot including tables and chairs, and then framed left when the camera moves tighter, as if there are 2 Ullmans, disassociated, demonic. Look closer and you can see what Kubrick is accomplishing with these shifts. This discordance between eerily similar shots is both a nuance of the horror to come, and a primer to apply to the logic of the hotel's power, its language. Notice the room's design is not typical. Behind Jack, and his mirror Bill, are corners that defy simplicity, column shapes that create shaded depth. Coupled with the hidden aspects of asymmetry, Kubrick is further using left and right cortexes to blend and hide information, mostly as innocuous values. These are values weighted laterally that maintain a stable horizon, whether present or not, but exhibit unstable values in vertical shifts, like this room's asymmetry, like the girls that are not twins later. However primitive the result is, this is Kubrick's most experimental pursuit in The Shining. He is using neuroscience, paleoneurology and the cortex, to both scare you and develop a new language of storytelling. The Overlook by way of Ullman additionally communicates through Plain's Indian Sign Language, warning Jack visually. The gist of it. You, or I, will, have, traveled across a mountain to be, have been, buried here. Ullman mentions winter of 1970. Film playing midpoint is named Summer of 42. His outfit is an extension of the miniature US flag on his desk, something we can label a scale mirror, a property in Neuroscience akin to an isomorph. The overlooks of the road and carpet patterns, both with sun images, tennis ball sun prism, and cars, are also isomorphic scale mirrors. The lines of his cuffs, the colors of his tie jacket, flow from the flag stripes and colors. His hands form similar animate extensions, and are folded in repeated patterns of asymmetry he never prays. Kubrick connects mirror logic here. In Ullman's single, we see a different side of the mirror, where the other Ullman is. Kubrick begins warping continuity to reveal another world, a shift, a mirror world without a visible mirror. The eagle is a provocative key. Consider the opening shots which are in flight. This placement here creates, quite literally, a mirror with the audience, who flew here collectively as one, though purely as a POV. The audience is only remotely aware of this relationship, but it's repeatedly implied in other mirrors later in the film. Here, behind Ullman it shifts left, another mirroring, after a few shots, to reveal a side of the mirror, a mirror world inside a portal, a shining. Special effects in this film are primitive in design, but advanced in terms of meaning. Their visual logic suggests vast possibilities in terms of game gestures, neural languages and even physics. And by terms I mean that literally. These are visual definitions of complex ideas. Ideas like paradox, linearity, continuum. Quantum mechanics rather than quantum dynamics. Past or any future set in the past, can be broadcast right now. These timeframes can appear as transmissions, or as entirely populated rooms. Although the hotel is visually associated with hell, gesturally associated with Jack, its true powers are inverse to the also unseen time conjurers of 2001, the controllers of the Stargate. Here time can only be controlled locally. Inwards into psychic death, not psychic rebirth. Compression that ends in a still. Dave Bowman is rendered planetary in size, 2001. Jack Torrance is rendered postage stamp size inside a photograph. Though both are physically shown, the processes are obviously supernatural. Below right is an enlargement of the eagle's establishing frame. Kubrick reveals the left-oriented eagle from behind Ullman's head as the scene ends. He even flips the order of Ullman's hand overlaps when he cuts, another mirror though this one is based in time, not image. Kubrick forces two distinctly different realms on us, but doesn't explain them. We inhabit these orientations unconsciously. The film tightens each shot until we single on Jack's eye. He's being warned subtly by the optics, and not so subtly by Ullman not to participate. In a sense the audience is Jack, since both remain unaware of the overlook's mirrored realms, while Danny gains awareness and Wendy simply avoids it. Although we carefully follow Danny on his path to trap his father, Kubrick refrains from showing us what Danny is aware of, the benefits of silent film storytelling, leaving us to fear what he does not. Kubrick continues storytelling even in Ullman's hand patterns as eagle forms that animate into his cuffs, wings that flap. He even overlaps only his thumbs to show the full bird form as a bridging gesture to the tale of Grady's axe murder-suicide. Although the mysterious outer-inner facets of these symmetries are key, some details are omitted here. Eye contact with audience. Jack makes the first of his glances audience-ward throughout this scene, predicting his pending frozen stare at us from inside the photograph. The hotel's hell is this never-return glance. When asked how his wife and kids are going to react to the hotel, he glances at us in the audience before declaring they'll love it.
Wife and son, how do you think they'll take to it? They'll love it. Right.
By glancing lens-ward at the audience, he activates the last shot, a frozen audience that he's a part of, a mirror to us in the dark. Once Ullman's description of cabin fever, early American discordance, and previous caretakers' slaughter-suicide are delivered, here he's known as Charles Grady, spectrally later as Delbert Grady, the conversation shifts to the Torrances. Jack's second interview sequence includes a photograph behind him that also appears in film's final shot, next to the image of the 1921 party, an aggressive yet subliminal link between corporeal Jack and incorporeal Mr. Torrance. The shadowed inset wall behind him possesses two vertical edges that hint at the frame of the photo he ends the film inside. Jack is miniaturized and blended into this form, framed in this exact distance from below's left photograph of film's end. He is animated into a shadowed wall. Jack is even oriented in the same direction of the final photo, which sits only a few meters across the lobby outside, through the office's walls. Jack mentions teaching was a way to make ends meet, which is what's occurring visually in the scene. Notice the shine on the doorway's frame. Still and the window are transmutational towards one another. They are separate images, objects that bear passing resemblance, and relate to states Jack will travel through, freezing in the maze and freezing inside the photo. All three vertical edges of Jack's framing cut back and forth to precise verticals in the window. By tightly relating them, Kubrick is provoking the audience to make an unconscious tween for them. Tween is an animator's word. It refers to the frames created between target points in a character's motion. This is only one example of many complex visual transitions in the film that defy all of the West's spoken language's descriptive abilities. When Ullman shifts to the horror of the overlook, he calls it a thing that should be mentioned. This is why Kubrick's films retain their hold after repeated viewings. The mundane is spoken, the complex is illustrated. Western films reverse this, or simply equate them.
Sometimes when this place gets kinda empty, the sound of their breath fades with the light. I think about the loveless fascination under the Milky Way tonight. Lower the curtain down in Memphis. Lower the curtain down, alright. I got no time for private consultation under the Milky Way tonight. thing